Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stop Looking at Me Like That, the show where we analyze all of the weird and interesting lore from all of our favorite fictional franchises. I am your host, Andrew Pearson. I'm here today with my co host, Mr. Harry Gollin.
Hello.
And
And
today we're going to be talking about a personal favorite of mine. We're going to be talking about some Sonic comics today.
I'm excited, but I have two main questions for you. First of all, roughly who are we talking about here? Like, what is this based off? What kind of issues of the comic?
So I decided for the first huge arc of the original Archie Sonic line, I'm going to be talking about the Endgame saga, Avengers Endgame,
Mm-hmm.
and that was issues 47 to 58, or 47 to 50, my bad.
Okay.
I
Okay.
I lied on accident last episode. I thought it was up to issue 60, but it's not. It's up to issue 50.
Okay.
And what was your other question?
My other question was just, in general, is this so? Where does this fit in the Sonic Comics timeline? Is this sort of late? Is this early? Does it? I assume it does not always go in just order of the issues, right?
It is early. All the issues are chronological, thankfully.
Really?
So, 47, it was the biggest arc at the time. I chose it because it's actually like not completely terrible, but
Mm-hmm.
there are enough quirks in it that, in my opinion, bring it down, but also bring it up in a comedic sense.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All
And
right.
yeah, that's about it.
All right.
Should we get started?
I'm ready.
All right. So, the very first thing you'll notice, because in all four issues of the Endgame arc, it starts off each issue with like this Game of Thrones prologue page, and it's so stupid. So,
Ah,
would you like me to read you part of the first page?
all right, I'm ready.
It is year 3235, because in this universe, it's like 1,000 years plus in the future, assuming all of the animals evolve, right?
So, but I mean, not to be that guy, not to be like the stickler here, but I mean,
They
hedgehogs have had a lot longer than 1,000 years to evolve, and I don't know how they get bigger, bluer, less spiky,
and
and
fast.
talking, and fast. I mean, that's well, isn't he like a science experiment though? He's a
Um,
science experiment, right?
not in this continuity.
No, he's just naturally that fast.
Yeah, Sonic is really gifted in this timeline. But
Huh.
so it is year 3235 on planet Mobius, and the war being fought upon its surface lands have entered its 11th year. A war that began as another had just concluded. A war that had its origins from the seeds of betrayal within.
Oh. Hmm. Hmm. Ah.
I'm not gonna get into the rest of it because it kind of goes into spoiler territory.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I really do appreciate about this saga is that it actually does provide some really key backstory
Mm-hmm.
on certain characters. So before we get into the actual issue, I feel like there's some backstory needed.
Yeah, I think that's probably necessary. Like, what is that other war? And why did they name the planet Mobius? I mean, I know that goes back pretty far and sort of the, but why?
That is from back in the Sonic Bible. Uh,
Right, but why? I mean, I get like Mobius strip and all that, but like,
That's
why?
that's just the information that Archie was given.
Right,
In
right.
in
But
terms
why?
of,
But why did they choose like in the Sonic Bible or whatever?
I don't
Why did they
know.
choose
I
Because I
think
know that it's a reference to the Mobius strip, I guess, but I don't know because like they
I
could.
think it's literally just a name.
Yeah, so whatever.
I think it's just a name. But so to start off, I'd like to introduce the concept to you that the Kingdom of Acorn exists. Okay?
Is Sally the princess of that?
Yes. So Sally Acorn is the princess of the Kingdom of Acorn.
Okay,
The
so it's just like the Mushroom Kingdom,
sort
but it's a
of,
princess for each.
except it's significantly cooler.
Sure, it is. Sure, buddy.
So so this entire universe takes place in a world that Eggman has already taken over,
Okay.
and it's kind of dystopian-ish, and he literally turns people into robots.
So this is like the Sad AM show
Yes,
then.
yes, it is.
Okay. So is the Kingdom of Acorns like directly under Eggman's control, and they're just kind of hiding, or is there like a spot in the world that is independent of Eggman?
Kind of yes to both questions, because the princess of the Kingdom of Acorn is part of the Freedom Fighters, obviously, which is Sally
Right.
Acorn.
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
prince and the queen are in hiding elsewhere. But that's not
Mm-hmm.
revealed until like 50 issues later, so
No,
we're
excellent,
not getting
excellent.
into that yet.
Does that mean that Sally Acorn just runs the kingdom anyway because she has nothing better to do?
No, no, because the
Who
Kingdom
runs
of
the
Acorn
kingdom
is
then?
technically basically destroyed at this
Okay,
point.
so it basically doesn't exist. It's a title.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Eggman took it over, but when he did, he took the king of the Kingdom of Acorn, King
Made,
Maximilian.
probably made him a robot.
Actually, no, he threw him into a pocket dimension. He trapped him
Why?
because
Why?
he just wanted to be a jerk, I suppose.
Why?
He threw
Okay.
him into a pocket dimension called the Zone of Silence. Okay,
Wow.
just stay with me here.
Okay. Okay. Yep.
And basically, King Max was stuck in there for several decades until he was somehow saved by Sonic a couple
Mm.
of in a previous issue.
Bro, is this like the Flash thing where like he can run so fast he can like move through dimensions and there's like the speed force and
I
stuff?
don't think it was like that. I think he jumped through a portal. I would have to go back and read
Okay.
that.
Okay. All right.
But essentially, when the king comes back, he's incredibly sick with poisoning from that zone, and
Mm-hmm.
it's basically slowly turning his body into crystal.
Okay. Oh yeah, I vaguely remember hearing about this arc.
So at this point, King Acorn is slowly turning into crystal, and it's kind of a vegetable,
Mm-hmm.
and Eggman rules just about everything, and then Princess Sally is part of the Freedom Fighters. Now, the
Sounds
Freedom
good.
Fighters, for those who do not know, is basically Sonic and friends who
Mm-hmm.
fight against Eggman for freedom. Got that?
Yeah, no, I'm on board with that. However, there are some characters who are in the comic that are not, anywhere else,
Oh
like the
yes,
skunk.
we will get to him. We will. I promise you, we will
I'm
get to
so confused. They just
Anyways,
add characters.
yeah, dude, they add characters all the time. It's hilarious. But I think that kind of brings us up more or less to the start of the Endgame saga,
All
because
right.
basically the Freedom Fighters have been fighting for years against Eggman, and
So when it says there was a war for 11 years, that's the Freedom Fighters, and the war that's been fighting that was fought right before the current war was the war that destroyed the Kingdom of Acorn. Just to clear that up.
that would be yes, that's correct.
Okay, good.
I didn't want I wanted to tread lightly over that because it's kind of a huge part of the backstory that is explained later.
No, that's unfortunate.
So, but you would be correct.
Okay.
And there are technical names for both wars, just so you
Okay.
know.
The Great Acorn War.
No, no, no. It was just the Great War.
Oh yeah, of course. Were they in trenches too?
Probably, yeah.
Ah. Anyway.
All right, let's start. So the arc begins with Sally and Sonic on a recon mission, right?
Oh yeah.
And basically, they grapple up to a really high part of Eggman's base. Essentially, they split up, right, to go find entrances.
Right.
And but here's the thing. So the rest of the Freedom Fighters are off in a different corner, and they're keeping their eyes on him just in case anything happens.
Right.
So the two split up, and Sally's really worried for some reason. Now you might ask why. Well, it's because apparently earlier that week or whatever, she was told that her father was apparently magically back to health,
Uh-oh.
and she goes to talk to her father, and he basically informs her that there is a traitor among the Freedom Fighters, and that Sonic is the traitor, and that he needs to be either exiled or killed. And so,
No, not Sonic. But wait, okay, just a quick question. This is a bit of a nitpick, but
hmm
why would you ever bring anyone with Sonic on a recon mission? Wouldn't they just slow him down?
apparently the two of them just are great at recon. I don't know.
Okay, so they always go on recon missions together?
Yeah, I think that's just
And
how
she's not like as fast as him.
No, but apparently she's like really athletic or whatever.
Oh, okay. Alright, anyway, yes, continue.
So basically, King Max scolds his daughter because she dared to not be in proper regal attire, right?
Mm. Mm.
And he tells her that she needs to bring Sonic on the next mission to truly figure out his loyalties.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think everybody gets this. However, the way it's written is so incredibly odd. So Ken Penders wrote this, okay?
Right.
But it was also the work of another gentleman who, let me pull up his name. His name is escaping me. Oh wait, no, this issue was completely by Ken Penders. So yeah, this is all Ken Penders. I want you to listen to this and truly ask yourself, is this how a normal person talks?
In its defense, they are all anthropomorphic animals.
But who are supposed to be like teenagers.
Yeah, no doubt. Like, obviously, it's just bad writing. But if you wanted to excuse it, you could say since they evolved separately of humans, they don't have normal speech patterns because they have nothing to go off of.
I mean, I guess so. But
that's just a
that's a
just
nitpick.
That's a nitpick that you can come up with because it's fun, but it doesn't justify bad writing.
That's true. So let me read you this thought process that goes in Sally's head, okay?
Oh yeah, let's go.
Even as Sonic is ready to continue, I'm not sure I am. There are still too many unanswered questions. Ever since the campfire discussion I conducted, things only get more complicated.
Okay, wait, no one starts their sentence with even, you know? You don't start a statement. Even is something you have later on, right?
Or ever since, my bad.
Or ever since, I was gonna say. But still, conducted? Conducted? No one says conducted.
It's weird.
And they're supposed to be teenagers. They're not they shouldn't be this verbose anyway, but even people who use that kind of vocabulary don't use it that way. Wow, that's amazing.
I know. And here's another line. This is her reacting to her father. Her father just comes up and says, "Hey, how are you? Why are you not in your regal stuff, right?"
Okay. Yeah.
And her response is, "It's just that nobody had informed me of your recovery, father."
What?
It's so weird. And then the final thought bubble of page 5 or whatever is, I couldn't believe what I had just heard. All of a sudden, I felt as though my father was a stranger to me.
Wow.
Just ask yourself. That one's a little more normal, but ask yourself, is this how a normal person talks?
Is how a normal teenager talks, moreover. And also, wait, so when her father goes up to her to yell at her about not regal attire, is this the first time she's seen him healthy?
Yes. It's the first
So
time.
she's not.
It's
So she's
literally
not
it's legitimately the first time she's seen him healthy in 10 years.
So she's not like, Dad, you're okay. She's like, no one has informed me of your recovery.
Yeah.
What? That's honestly, I think, the worst, because it makes absolutely no sense in character.
Yeah, I know. And it's basically Ken Penders spending his time getting the older folk to say, You young folk, how could you not be traditionalist?
Mm.
Anyways, they split up, right? And
Mm-hmm.
Sally is going down on a lasso off a huge cliff, right?
What else would you go off a cliff with but a lasso?
And Sonic goes into an air vent to go and try to get to Eggman directly.
Why are air vents in Star Wars and in Sonic it's just the thing they go in? You know what I mean?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
If Eggman ever wanted to stop the Freedom Fighters, he would just make really small vents.
Oh wait, now that I think about it, I shouldn't be calling him Eggman. I should be calling him Robotnik.
Robotnik, yeah, okay. But the point is, feels like he could stop this whole thing by just having smaller air vents.
I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But so Sally's lowering on her lasso, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then the other freedom fighters see that she's in danger because there are lasers all around her. And they're like, "Oh no, what can we do?" And by the way, one of the other freedom fighters, his name is Rotor the Walrus. He's pretty cool. He pulls out this huge gun. All right?
What?
This huge cannon to try and knock out the turrets around Sally. So I'm gonna send you a picture of this, just for how jarring it looks.
I like how you just describe it in passing, oh yeah, and they have a walrus friend named Rotor, as you do, completely normal. What is it? But don't walruses? They wouldn't live there though, would they?
He is. So the story behind him is that Eggman attacked his herd in Antarctica or whatever, or whatever Mobius's equivalent would be, and he was forced to run away, and he found the freedom fighters that way.
Yeah.
But you're seeing this huge artillery weapon, right?
Yeah, wait, and then I forgot about the bunny who doesn't she speak like she's from the South and she's got like
Yeah,
robotic
her name is
limbs?
her name is Bunny Rabo, but everybody calls her Bunny Rabbit, and she's actually a cool character because she fights and she does cool
Yeah.
things. But
Okay.
oh, and you'll see later that I'm gonna have my minor complaints with how Ken Penders tries to write Southern people.
Oh, wow.
He
I'm
does not.
excited.
He does not understand how Southern people use y'all.
What's there to understand? I mean, not to be that guy, but it's kind of simple, isn't it? Like,
No, so he writes y'all as if as if the person is talking to a singular other person. So for example, right?
what?
If I was just talking to you
Mm-hmm. Right.
and I wanted to say, how do you think he's doing? The way Ken Penders writes it is, how do y'all think he's doing?
What?
That's how he writes it. It's so
But
stupid.
that's so stupid because y'all is so simple. It's just you and all crammed together. Of course, it can't be singular.
But nah, he uses it as singular. It's dumb.
That's amazing. That's hilariously stupid. Anyway, so
Anyways,
yes,
so
their walrus friend that they just have uses a massive gun to try and blow stuff up. Okay.
and he does. However, they need someone else to rescue Sally because she's still in danger and she's a little too far down to just climb back up, right?
Mm.
So then they're very relieved. They see Sonic come back to the rope. So
It's not Sonic.
they think that he's just gonna pull her up, but he pulls out a knife
Yeah.
and cuts the rope.
Yep. Sounds
So
good.
so Sally falls to her presumed death,
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
and it's so funny. Now I will have to unfortunately mention that there is a completely different group of freedom fighters that's also joining the normal group on this specific mission.
Okay.
They're called the Wolf Pack.
Of course. Of course they
Just
are.
stick with me. Just stick with me. I know how it sounds. And
Mhm.
they're really unimportant. They're basically just freedom fighters, but wolves.
Okay.
Except for one dude who will be important later, so I will mention him later. But he's really the only important character in this specific arc. So just letting you
Right.
know, they exist. And they are
Got it.
currently helping the freedom fighters try and get Sally's body back to base. And by the way, they
Right.
brought on a doctor. They just brought a doctor with them.
Of course they did.
Dr. Quack.
Oh, that's what the duck is.
Yeah.
He's a doctor? I
Yeah.
was wondering what he did. He didn't look very impressive. I didn't think he'd be much help fighting.
Yeah, no, they basically just brought him in case something happened. And so he analyzes Sally's heartbeat, and apparently her heartbeat is really weak for some reason.
Very cool.
And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then they all get in a plane and go back to base. But
Okay.
that still leaves Dr. Robotnik and his henchman Snively.
I remember Snively.
Snively. And so then the real Sonic confronts them, and then the two of them just run away. They're not too special.
Right.
Essentially, once they escape, Sonic runs away. He gets out of there, and he goes back to the rendezvous point where everybody's supposed to meet, and nobody's there. So he's like, "Oh crap, what happened?" And so he runs back to home base, which, by the way, I'm just gonna be referring to it as Not Hole from now on, because that's the name for it.
Yeah.
First thing the reader sees when they get back to Not Hole is the freedom fighters waiting around in the waiting room, waiting for Dr. Quack and his diagnosis. And basically, Dr. Quack walks out. Rotor asks, "Well, Doc?" Dr. Quack shakes his head. Everybody starts crying and looking in disbelief.
Wow.
And so Sonic barges in, and he's like, "Oi, what happened?"
Duh, what a Chad.
And he walks in, and here's your favorite character. They order Joffrey St. John to come in and arrest Sonic because apparently it was him who cut the rope, right?
Right.
And so Sonic is arrested and cut to different scene. And so then You just gotta stick with me here.
Does he need to get a lawyer? Is there a trial?
Oh,
Does
dude,
the
the
Kingdom Bay
trial's
courts
later.
have
The trial's later.
do they have like a guaranteed right to some form of public defense?
The
Does he have
trial's.
to...
We'll get to that in a second. We'll get to that
Oh,
in a second.
this is pretty funny.
So then, you remember that there was one important character in the
Wolf
Pack, right?
Yeah.
So his
What
name
was
is
his name?
Drago.
Wolfie.
His name
Drago.
is Drago.
Of
Yeah.
course it is. Wow, very cool.
And so he walks into his hut at Knothole, and he
Mhm.
walks in and he sees his partner in crime, Hershey the cat. Okay.
Of course. What else?
And he walks in and he's like, "Yeah, I'm the coolest. Our plan worked like clockwork, and best of all, nobody knows what happened."
Okay, so they're the bad guys then.
Here's the thing: Hershey isn't a bad guy.
But
I will explain this later.
what?
It's
But Hershey but Hershey knows?
We will get to it. It is such a stupid revelation. We will get to it. I promise you.
All right. You have piqued my curiosity very much.
So then we cut to Sonic's kind of half trial or whatever. And the kingdom basically says that even though you just killed one of our royal family members, for all the good that you've done for Knothole, I will forego the death penalty.
That's not how law works, though.
Instead, Sonic the Hedgehog, I sentence you to life imprisonment in the Devil's Gulag.
That's really what they call it.
That's what they call it, dude.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
It's great.
Does he have to like do hard labor?
No, so apparently the Gulag has been defunct ever since the original Great War, and it's basically not been in use since then, and that's where they're sending him.
What do they need the Gulag for? Weren't they fighting Eggman's robots?
Exactly, so they didn't really need it until now.
So like, when did they ever need the Gulag? Was the King Max all about that prison labor?
I will get to that when we get into the cool backstory in issue 4.
Okay, I was just gonna say, like, the Devil's Gulag. I mean, I thought they were the good guy.
Anyways, I have one more complaint with this issue. This is issue 47, by the way. It's the way Ken Penders wrote Tails.
Oh yeah, you have a lot about that.
So here's the thing: Tails is like 8 years old in this comic. Okay. Tails, by the way,
let's take him to the war zone. Yep, 8 years old, child soldier. It's good. It's good.
So Tails, by the way, for the folks who don't know, is basically Sonic's best friend and little brother, right? Who proves himself useful eventually, and then becomes regular part of the group.
Right.
So here's the thing: I want to ask you something. Is this how you write an 8-year-old? We cut to a panel. Everybody's getting Princess Sally into the plane, right? And Dr. Quack says, "Get this thing moving, Antoine," who is another one of the freedom fighters.
Yeah. Okay.
And we need to save Princess Sally. Tails says, "Aren't we forgetting someone? What about Sonic? Isn't anyone concerned over what's become of Sonic?"
What's become of Sonic?
Yeah.
Wow. That's beautiful. I remember at 8 years old constantly using that phrase, "What's become of?"
Oh, and we're not done. We're not done though, because later on, it's in the next issue. So I guess I can start my Tails complaints on the next issue as well.
Excellent.
So it basically starts off with Sonic getting dragged off by Jobber St. John and his men, who, by the way, is like the leader of the secret police or whatever of Knothole.
Oh, yeah, so they've got their own KGB and NKVD, and then they also have their own Gulag. And they're the good guys.
They are the good guys.
We're clear on this. Like, but are they, though? I mean, they have a Gulag, they have a secret police. I don't know.
It's a good meme. It's a good meme.
Bro, wait, does like when Sally, presumably, because in later issues, does Sally have to do like de-Stalinization of the Knothole until where she takes out the legacy?
I wish, dude.
That would be really funny. She gives like a secret speech to all the representatives tearing down her father's legacy. That'd be hilarious.
That would be good. But let's see. So the issue starts off with Sonic in shackles, by the way.
Oh yeah, no.
Getting dragged onto a plane to send him over to the Devil's Gulag.
for the pretty like aren't they supposed to be like all in touch with nature?
Uh, yeah.
They just have a lot of planes, don't they? They're fighting a war, and they're like, "All right, time to send a plane over
Well, I
and
mean,
drop one person off in a gulag."
in this universe specifically, it's not so much nature versus machine as it is in the video games, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So like a ton of characters have bikes and whatnot.
But do they have like a bunch of planes, or are they really just devoting like one of their few planes to flying one guy off to a defunct prison?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, this feels kind of strange. Like, I don't know. Anyway, continue.
So again, Tails is written oddly here. So the freedom fighters are all gathered together, wondering how in the heck Sonic could do this.
Yeah.
And Tails says, "Easy, everyone. Sonic is as
Easy, everyone.
Sonic is as
Settle
much
down, y'all.
Sonic is as much in need of our prayers as poor Sally.
Prayers? What? There's religion in this?
Apparently there is.
What did Ken Penders just? Does Ken Penders write like a pantheon? Do they have their own god? Is it polytheistic? Is it monotheistic? Are there heresies? I have so many questions.
Those, unfortunately, I do not have an answer to. Unfortunately.
Oh, man, I should write the Sonic comic, and I'm just gonna write all my issues about de-Stalinization and the hedgehog religion. It's gonna be great.
Anyways, we cut back to Sonic on the plane, and he's wondering how could Sally's dad get so healthy in such a short amount of time, and what happened to cause him to get in here. And then he's interrupted by a character who's also in the plane with him as a prisoner. You want to know what?
They have like a bunch of prisoners now.
Yeah, there's like an extra prisoner. You want to know what his name is?
Okay.
His name is Sleuth Doggy Dog.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
It's awful. But basically,
boy.
the plane crash lands because some of Eggman's robots attack the plane, and Sonic breaks out on his own.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So basically, Ken Penders decides to write a monologue for the next
so
couple
like
of panels.
Is it a sonnet though?
It says the narrator about Sonic.
Oh, that's a shame. They should have like Sonic. Like,
oh, don't worry. Sonic has a little minor monologue later, dude.
I'm just like waiting for like him to like the dagger monologue out of Macbeth, like a soliloquy,
Yeah. But
that'd be great.
But I want you to listen to this and ask yourself.
All right, I'm ready.
Is this a Sonic property? Those are the last words Sonic utters. Not one single joke or wisecrack escapes his lips. For the first time in his life, Sonic is devoid of humor. For the first
that's what
time,
I want in my Sonic property, devoid of humor.
For the first time in his life, Sonic truly understands the meaning of war.
Okay.
His body is on autopilot. He fights like never before. This is fortunate, for his brain is otherwise occupied.
Wait, so like, is he like nothing personnel kid with all the robots?
Teleports behind you. Faster than he himself could ever travel, images flash before him, dominating his every thought. He sees the prone body of Princess Sally. He sees the look of his friends' faces. He sees himself in chains. Only when he further burdens his confidence, realizing he has inadvertently destroyed a possible supply of survival equipment.
What?
I guess the plane.
So he's like so angry he just like breaks the survival equipment.
Yeah, because like he's not thinking about it. I assume.
Okay.
Does his mind
dealt with all the robots?
Yeah, he just deals with all the robots.
So those robots were able to shoot down a plane, but like Sonic on autopilot is just too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this is Sonic on the ground, by the way.
Yeah, presumably, and like he's fine in the plane crash.
Yeah, he survives the plane crash just fine.
But like he's just fine. Okay. Anyway, yes, continue.
And the final piece of this narrator monologue is: does his mind regain control, making him aware that his minor battle is over, and it's once again time to take flight? It's like what is this?
What is that? Because it's not poetic.
It's not poetic. It comes off as incredibly stupid because,
You know what it sounds like? It sounds pretentious. That's what it sounds like.
oh, there's a lot of pretentiousness in some of Ken Penders' writing, let me tell you.
I mean, because like he's like, yes, let me write about the meaning of war with my story about an anthropomorphic hedgehog.
And
Yes,
it's not
thank you,
even
Ken
done
Penders.
well.
Exactly. Like, I as someone who is a little bit pretentious myself, I can put up with pretension, but you gotta earn it a little bit, you know? And he's just like, okay, Sonic's sad because he thought he kind of maybe sort of killed his friend, and like now he's sort of, in chains, and it makes him hurt. And that's the meaning of war? That's the meaning of war? Because that's oddly specific, no? Like, do you, does grandpa take you up on his knees like, oh, I remember when a fake me killed my best friend, and then I was put in prison and had to clear my name. That's not a typical war story. That's not the meaning of war.
Let's talk about a bait and switch, am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
Anyway,
we cut back to the king, and Drago comes out of nowhere and is basically like, yeah, I did what you wanted me to do. Thank you for my opportunity to become Duke of the Kingdom of Acorn. So he's saying some pretty shady stuff to him.
Right.
And then he basically says, Sonic escaped, bro. What are we going to do about him?
Bro.
And so, again, the king calls in Joffrey St. John. Our favorite.
Oh, I'm sure
Our favorite.
Why doesn't he call him Tails? And Tails is like, I think we need to look at this from all sides, guys. let's if we pray a bit, maybe we'll figure it out. Is God real in the Sonic universe? And also, does God like physically come down? Right. So like,
no, dude.
This is so many questions.
I need to finish reading the Ken Penders era, dude. I need to do that.
Because like, if there's a God, do they like? Is it like a God that they can directly see? Does like the Sonic God come down and intervene to save Sonic?
I don't know, dude. We're getting off topic.
Anyway, yeah. Continue.
So the king basically says, "I don't want your excuses, Joffrey. I want your men to go find Sonic right now." Now, here's the thing. This is how he delivers the message to Joffrey. Okay?
Yeah.
So Joffrey says, "But my men, they're the finest trained soldiers anywhere." King says, "Give me not your excuses, man. I won't have a murderer free in my soon-to-be restored kingdom. Give me not your excuses, man."
So that's written like sort of Middle English. But then, saying things like soon to be and all that, that's clearly, more modern English. So why isn't it consistent? That feels really weird.
Again, like the point that Ken Penders tries to get across, Ken Penders is the author, by the way, if you haven't gathered that. The point gets across, but it's hampered by the weirdest vocabulary choices.
I mean, one thing if the king talked like that, but like...
Dude, even Sonic talks like that.
It's very confusing. Okay, anyway, yes. So, bring me Sonic's head. And Joffrey's like, okay, yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. And
is everyone just kind of okay with this? Like, no one is... So, like, even Tails is just like, let's pray for Sonic, but, like, no one questions whether it might not be Sonic. I mean, they're fighting an evil tech genius, and no one's questioning the fact that, like, maybe, like, especially with the king's miraculous recovery, something weird might be going on.
So, Sonic's Uncle Chuck is the...
Oh, of course there's an uncle named Chuck. Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, so Sonic's Uncle Chuck is the only one who has everlasting faith that it was not Sonic who did this and that he's being framed. However, everybody else who was at the scene of the crime and saw Sonic do it, they're like, I can't believe he did this, but I saw him do it, so, like, what?
Wouldn't it be fitting if Tails didn't believe it, because best friend, sort of Sonic's like an older brother to him? Wouldn't it be, like, really fitting if Tails' faith in Sonic was rewarded?
Yeah. Well, it kind of is. We'll get to that. It's kind of not done as well as I would have liked.
Okay.
There are some missed opportunities. I'll say that.
Okay.
But essentially, Sonic is trying to cover up his tracks as he runs along. He finds a cave and he says he starts his own monologue.
Oh boy.
Let me see here. I'm trying to find a quote right now. Let me see. He basically starts monologuing and says Uncle Chuck tried to not only get in contact with Mr. Quack or Dr. Quack, but he also tried to get into contact with the king. And he's talking about how both of those parties were like, yeah, we have nothing to say to you, my guy. He's getting tried no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
And so, as Sonic's thinking about this, Ken Penders, the god tier narrator, this is what he says about Sonic's thought process. Okay,
Hmm.
Sonic's mind reels in turmoil, and when his capacity to ponder currently unanswerable questions comes to an end, only then does he feel the impact of Sally's passing. Only then does the stress of grief force his body to succumbing to sleep.
Wait. I thought he had finally realized the meaning of war like half an hour ago. What? I thought like that was what it was talking about. That specifically the loss of Sally was what allowed him to understand
No.
what
He was
war,
on
like the context
autopilot.
of war. But he was on autopilot, so like, then what does that even mean? So he understands the consequences of war, but somehow the big consequence of war, death, is something he doesn't understand for a while. What?
It's so weird and dumb.
Okay, yeah. All right.
So then we cut to two other freedom fighters,
Mm-hmm.
Antoine and Bunny. Antoine is a crappy character, but he gets better as the comics go on. He's a French
Mm-hmm.
dude. That's all you really need to know.
I like the Frenchies, so I'm sympathetic.
And so once again, it we have another instance in which Ken Penders doesn't understand how to write Southern folks,
Mm.
and he so essentially the two of them are trying to follow Drago, right? Because they're really suspicious of him because he got an audience with
Uh-huh.
the king, but nobody else close to him did, and so they're really suspicious of why Drago of all people was getting an audience. So they're
Mm.
following him into his hut, right? And they're tailing him. And Antoine's going off about how, he's really suspicious and whatnot, and why would the king do that? And Bunny responds with, I don't know, but y'all realize that we've been following Drago, don't ya? Here's the problem. It's just them two.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
I don't
Oh
I don't
gosh.
understand Ken Penders. I don't know. I don't understand why he's like this, dude.
Bruh. Bunny just seems to be like a rogue from the X-Men. Like
Eh,
that's just what she seems like.
Nah, Bunny's like actually cool, except she gets hampered down sometimes because stupid writers like Ken Penders don't know how to write for Southern people.
Does she say sugar or something like that?
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But
All
but
right.
but anyways, Antoine's like, we still gotta follow him. We still gotta listen in. So Drago walks in in his house where apparently Hershey the cat, who you'll remember from earlier, still important. I swear, do not forget.
Okay, sure.
Walks in and he's like, "Hello, dear future Duke of Robotropolis is coming home, boys." And she's like, "Well, I don't care about your plans. Please leave me out of them. I did my part, and that's it." And then Drago just grabs her arm and says, "Don't take that tone with me. You're into the situation up to your neck," which implies that she did something that she is not aware of and that he tricked her into something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But it's written so oddly. It's just weird vocabulary choices again. And then
Mm.
and then he remarks how, Joffrey St. John went off to go get Sonic. Hopefully, if we're lucky, they'll kill each other. And then
Why?
because
How would Joffrey catch Sonic?
he has a tracker in his shoe.
But how would he catch him? As in, like, Sonic's the fastest thing alive.
Wait for him to be exhausted and then catch him then.
Wouldn't you be exhausted chasing him though? I don't know.
Nah. Joffrey has the best and most highly trained men in the entire kingdom.
Okay, I'm just kind of like, but how are they gonna catch him though?
Uh,
Are they like as fast as Sonic or anywhere
no,
near as fast?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Okay, I'm putting that aside. Anyway, yeah.
Anyways, Drago leaves his house, and so Bunny and Antoine go ahead and tail him. And at one point, they lose track of him, but it turns out he's behind them, and
Oh
he
God, yeah,
captures
no,
them. He
no, very sad.
teleports behind them.
Nothing personnel. Kid.
Nothing personnel, kid. But here's the interesting part. He gets Eggman robots to capture them and take them
What?
away.
But why? That just like completely reveals his plan. Why didn't he just do it himself?
He did kind of do it himself, but he also brought along his boys.
Okay, why? Was he afraid?
No, I guess he just wanted to be efficient or something.
Okay, sure.
But then we have another Ken Penders get off my lawn kids moment
Oh, I love
where
those.
like I guess you guys would be so easy to notice because you're amateurs and
Nothing better than experience.
yeah. But the kicker is that the freedom fighters have been at their game for like several years at this point. So you can't really call them amateurs anymore.
Oh, come on. You got to be fair here. They're apparently the number one recon team, Sonic and Sally, aren't available. They never would have gotten caught if it was Sonic and Sally.
I guess not. But anyways, Sonic wakes up in the cave because
By the way, is the war just like over now, or is it just like stopped?
No, it's
did they stop?
continuing.
Right, but like, it doesn't seem like it. They have plenty of time to like send Sonic off to the gulag and hold a trial, and aren't they at war? Like, shouldn't some characters be off the front
we'll
line?
get to why this is still part of the war in a little bit because there's a huge revelation and it is so stupid.
Okay,
Whatever.
alright.
Anyways,
Alright.
Sonic wakes up to the growling of Joffrey St. John's men's Tasmanian devils, and
Of course, yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah. So Tasmanian devils in this universe are basically like one of the few unevolved species left.
Bro, what does Ken Penders have against Tasmanian devils?
I don't know, dude. I don't know.
Bro, what? So like all the other animals are evolved, but not Tasmanian devils.
I know, right? But
Sure.
essentially,
Also, are they still called Tasmanian devils?
yes,
But they're on Mobius.
yeah.
So what's Tasmania?
Okay. This is really stupid, and we'll get into it at a later date. But essentially, all you need to know is that Mobius, or at least in the Sonic universe, they basically just rob the names of certain continents, and they'll just label that as a fake continent in Mobius just for simplicity's sake.
Okay.
So like South America is Soumerica,
Of course.
and Africa is Freaka or something, and Australia is Down Under.
Oh, okay, that is funny. That last one.
So essentially, they just substitute names for real life countries and areas. And so that's where the Tasmanian devils are from. That's where they originate. And so
Okay.
I assume that's where their version of Tasmania would be.
Mm-hmm. Are you
anyways-
sure it's not like Zemania or something like that?
Probably something stupid like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, we got off track.
Yes, very off track. All right.
So Sonic is running away from Joffrey St. John in the caves. Joffrey has a tracker in his shoe, or in the shackle, rather, that he still has on, by the way. And
yeah. Okay.
so basically,
maybe it makes him look cool. Okay, that's why he's keeping it on. It's a fashion statement.
to be fair, the cover for this issue is actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Let
Is
me
it Sonic running with.
Let me send it
Okay.
to you. Like the cover for this issue is actually pretty cool. Not even
Alright,
gonna lie, but
That's pretty cool.
essentially, Joffrey actually finds him and they fight, right?
Yeah.
And
My money's on Sonic.
yeah, but Joffrey still loses. But so they fight. They fall down a large cliff, but then they cut back to Knot Hole, right? And the king basically says, "Okay, freedom fighters, I appreciate all you've done for trying to keep the kingdom alive. However, you guys have been useless and haven't kicked Eggman out yet. So I'm formally disbanding all of you." And then the huge revelation comes in. He basically says, "I'm going to bring in a new warlord to help us against Eggman." And the door opens, and Dr. Eggman walks in
Bro, what?
like a Chad.
But aren't they fighting Eggman?
We'll get to just listen. Just hear me out. Just hear me out. So
Okay.
Eggman walks in. Everybody's like, "What are you doing here?" And Eggman pretty much says, "You guys are the dumbest people I've ever been around because you didn't even notice when I made a robot version of your king."
Okay, that makes sense. I knew something was wrong about that king.
And then essentially he takes control of Knot Hole and starts sending people by foot, by the way, to his city. I think it's called Robotropolis.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Robotrons.
And basically sends them to all get roboticized on like a death march.
That's cool.
It's
very
weird.
cool. Okay.
Cut back to the real meat and potatoes, Joffrey versus Sonic.
That's the matchup I've been waiting for.
Yeah, so they fight. Sonic gets to a point where he's at cliff point, right? So he just has the cave and a cliff behind him.
Okay.
And Joffrey has him at so Joffrey's weapon is like a crossbow on his hand, right? Or on his wrist.
Of course. What else?
So you
but
could
a wrist
so
crossbow?
essentially you could say he has Sonic at gunpoint, right?
Okay, yeah, sounds good.
And then Sonic just jumps off the cliff to try and
Very
get
cool.
away.
Very cool.
Now this leads to the third issue in our 4-issue saga here.
Mhm.
And this is probably the dumbest one of all.
Wow.
And I really, really hate the explanations that they went through for this issue. But essentially, let's get back into it. So, Sonic jumps off right as Joffrey tries to shoot him.
Mm-hmm.
And so, essentially, Sonic does this thing where he takes off his shoe, okay, mid falling down, takes the dirt in his shoe, throws it,
What?
and apparently he's so fast that on that little bit of dirt that he collected in his shoe, he can run on it. And he
What?
manages to run to safety with it.
What? That makes my head hurt.
Here's a picture for you just in case you need like a visual aid.
I'm so confused. What?
He literally takes the dirt out of his shoe.
But then
throws
it doesn't.
it.
But the dirt is still falling. No.
It is.
So what's he pressing down on?
Exactly.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's so dumb. It's so incredibly dumb. But like okay, it works, right?
Okay, let's
manages
just
to work.
assume that's not the dumbest thing I've ever.
Did you get the pictures?
Yeah, I got the pictures. Wow, he had a lot of dirt in his shoe. That's like impressive.
I know.
What was he doing?
It's actually quite remarkable.
Right. Yeah. No. Anyway. Yeah.
But anyways, he falls onto the ground, and Joffrey just goes to his team. They say
got
like,
him.
"What happened, dude?" And he said, "Sonic escaped temporarily."
Oh yeah.
And then they go and try and catch him, right? And they try and go back through the caves or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then this next part is kind of stupid. This is basically where he explains to everybody that he tricked them all with a robot king.
Yeah.
But then we cut to Dr. Quack, right? And he's talking with Schnively. Schnively. And he basically says, "Okay, I did everything you wanted me to do. Can I please see my family now?" And Schnively's like, "Yeah, I could let you do that, but you need to do one more favor for me." And Dr.
Right.
Quack's like, "Oh, okay, what is it?" And he's like, "We are going to operate on the king, on the real king, who's crystallized." And essentially, I think what Snively wants to do is he wants to kill the king, or he wants to just let him be or whatever. I don't know. This is never followed up on, by the way.
Cool.
It's just convoluted. Then we cut back to Sonic, right? And he really wants to get back to Naho, but he doesn't know how to do it. And he's too tired, and he needs a friend. So he calls on his dragon friend. Okay.
He's a dragon friend.
Her name is Dulcie the Dragon. Okay.
So there are dragons in this world too.
There are.
Okay.
And she's like also a freedom fighter and friend, right? Here's the thing though. You want to know how Sonic manages to contact somebody in the middle of nowhere?
Yells really loud. I don't know.
Okay, yeah, you're not even wrong. So
oh God.
So he does it by whistling, by vibrating his vocal cords at the speed
We can do it
of
really
sound.
fast because he's Sonic.
Yeah, because he's Sonic. And it creates a high frequency noise that gets the attention of his friend. And she comes.
Well, that's wow. Wow,
it's truly remarkable.
You know, sometimes I wonder about Ken Penders.
It's like who comes up? You can't make this up.
You can't make this stuff
like,
up. No, you
cannot. Not in my wildest dreams would I ever make this up.
Yes, obviously. But like, wait. So Sonic's really fast, right? But who's to say that he's like really fast in any way except his running speed? Like, is it ever like clearly said that he's fast in his vocal cord vibration? And
No.
if he is his voice naturally like super high pitched?
No, dude. I don't think
This is
so.
so confusing.
Just another stupid moment. But
Yeah.
essentially, he gets Dulcie to fly him over to Angel Island.
Oh, but does she know that he, finger quotes, he killed Sally? Because she is a freedom fighter, shouldn't she be
We
like?
will get to that revelation later.
So she doesn't know,
No, she does know.
but
But
she still trusts him.
yes, but it's in the
Why?
dumbest way possible, and I will give you that answer in a second. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
So then we briefly cut to St. John again, and he's like, "Dang, I lost him. Missed him by a whisker."
Did he really say that?
Yeah, he really says that.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
And basically they escape. Like good stuff,
Yeah.
good stuff.
Good stuff. Okay.
Then we cut to domestic abuse.
What? in my Sonic comic? I mean,
we
interesting.
okay, so this is another hanging plot thread that
So is this like Hershey the bunny and
this is Hershey the cat
and Drago?
and Drago. Yes, we're back to
Yeah.
them.
Okay.
So Drago's like looking at himself in the mirror, and he's like, I'm gonna make a
What?
fine duke one of these days. And Hershey's like, did you hear? The princess was just killed. And Drago's like, yeah, that's right, and you're the one who did it.
What?
Oh, we will get
What?
to this. So first of all, this
What?
panel is done by him slapping away Hershey and slapping her drink out of her hand.
Oh, well, good to see some abuse in my Sonic comic, but
I know,
Okay,
just to
okay.
make sure we get the point across that Drago's a bad dude.
okay.
Also,
But-
I literally just noticed this. Drago only
Mhm.
has 4 fingers. I just noticed this.
Oh my god. Okay. But anyway, how could this happen, Andrew?
So, Drago somehow convinced Hershey to wear a Sonic mask. Okay? And the Sonic
That's so
mask,
stupid.
when someone puts it on, basically everybody they see looks like Snively.
What?
And so
Is it magic or is it technology?
Hershey asks Drago, "What kind of treachery is this?" Because that's how
You
people
egg?
talk.
He stabs.
So
But wait, no, we're not done.
Yeah, no, we're not done.
Like the
We're not done.
central MacGuffin of the entire story that is like the cause of all the conflict is a mask that looks like a Sonic mask that makes everyone look like Snively.
Yes, and this is explained by Drago by this. The best kind, Robotnik's treachery. See these eyepieces? They contain optic image refractors. No matter
yeah.
who you look at, it appears to be Snively.
Wait, so you're just gonna kill Snively? Did they kill people now?
Yeah, apparently they were just cool with killing Snively, I suppose.
And second of all, how does that make her look like Sonic if she's just wearing a Sonic mask? Like, I mean,
I
could
guess
roll
she
up.
just I guess that the angle that everybody was looking at
Is
him,
she, like,
it
the
was just the
same
head
color?
that was visible.
That's convenient,
Or
man.
like wore a full suit.
And then why didn't she go to the Freedom Fighters after that? Like, hey guys, I killed Snively. Why'd she run away?
I know, it's stupid. And then Drago finishes off like, so when you cut the rope you thought Snively was dangling from, you really dropped the Princess Sally to her death. Mwahaha. You were easy to dupe, sugar. And now Robotnik will reward me with a kingdom of my own when he takes over Mobius.
That's I have no words, Andrew. I really don't.
There is nothing to say. It is so
There really is.
It's so stupid.
That makes my head hurt. So they're killing people now. The Freedom Fighters are. Also,
no, but Hershey's not part of the Freedom Fighters.
Okay, so she was gonna kill them.
Yeah,
But-
she
but-
was
but-
cool with killing Snively.
Sounds good, but like, so she just has a mask on, so it's super convenient that she doesn't step forward a little bit, and they're like, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not Sonic. Must have been one hell of a mask too, like that's a wow."
Yeah,
Like,
it's a pretty dang good mask, dude.
Yeah, I mean, why didn't they just say it's the easiest thing in the world? Like Star Wars does it all the time. Haha, yes, this hologram projector makes it look like I am this person, but I am not. It's like the oldest trick in the book. I mean, he's like a tech genius. Why wouldn't you just say that? And it makes so much more sense.
Eggman would have to be the tech genius. Drago's pretty dumb.
Right, I mean, I know he's pretty dumb, but why didn't Eggman just give him a hologram projector, and then that's it? Whatever.
Dude, you're trying to make sense of a Ken Fender story.
Yeah, no, I think that's like the number one. That's a mistake. Okay, so anyway, yeah. So apparently, this one really really good mask has also convinced her. She killed Sally. What did she say now?
Okay. She says, choke, ho 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 ho, as in crying, and then and then that's the end of the scene.
Oh no, she's Santa now, Andrew.
Delivering all of the dead freedom fighters.
The grief has turned her into Santa Claus.
So, anyways, we cut back to Sonic and Dulcie, and they just land on Angel Island, and at this point, Knuckles really hates people coming onto his island. So
yeah, okay.
He's pretty much like,
get off my lawn.
Get out of here, nerd. And then Sonic and Knuckles exchange such scathing insults, such as a kid nerd and spine swine.
Spine swine? I'm not gonna lie, I like that one. Spine swine. I'm gonna start referring to people as spine swine. I'm gonna go up to like my little brother and be like, "All right, listen here, you little spine swine."
And then Geoffrey St. John comes out of nowhere and he's like, "If anyone's gonna kill Sonic, it's gotta be me."
Oh yeah, of course it is.
And then that's the end of issue 3. Now we're getting into the final issue here, and this one has actual important backstory that I actually found interesting. So this is like one of the few decent jobs Ken Penders did in writing. I'll be perfectly forthright with you.
Well, I mean, broken clock is right twice a day.
I know, right? And so the issue 4 starts off with this fat boy running away from other humans.
It's Sonic.
Sonic's
the fat boy. Sonic's the fat boy.
According to some people on DeviantArt, that would be correct. But
the Sonic's top secret backstory is that he was a fat human boy, and then he became a blue hedgehog that was super fast.
That's true. But nah, so basically this fat dude's running away from other humans, and they lose track of the fat guy. And then two hedgehogs, Sonic's father, Jules the hedgehog, and Sonic's uncle Chuck.
Chuck.
Yeah,
obviously.
Uncle
yeah,
Chuck.
No, who else?
Oh, I'm sorry,
else?
Sir Charles.
Did we ever see Sonic's mom?
Yeah, we do. Her name's like Bernadette or something.
Bernadette, of course it is. Okay, yes.
And essentially, Uncle Chuck and Jules are like, well, I've never seen the humans turn on each other. And Jules is like, well, you know what? We should probably bring this dude back to the king. Maybe he could help us, or maybe we can help him.
Oh, so the fat kid's Eggman.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
And so this guy's name is revealed to be Julian. Okay, so Eggman's real name is actually Julian in this comic. Just
so is it Julian Robotnik?
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the way, Snively's real name is Colin.
Oh, I thought Colin. Somehow that's kind of fitting. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess he looked like a Colin, I suppose.
But
anyways,
something like is his name like Colin Snivelson or something like that?
No, it's Colin Robotnik.
Oh, is he like his nephew? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, anyways, they load up Julian here on this really cool looking World War II bike. Not even gonna lie.
All right.
It actually looks pretty cool. I'm gonna send you the picture to this because
sounds good.
It's one of the few moments that the art actually impressed me.
All right, but
and the art in these early issues of Archie Sonic aren't that great, or at least aren't to my taste. But the covers are really cool. But
all right, so they're
right. So they basically load up Julian. They send him over to the king. It's revealed that Julian is actually like super smart, and he can actually lead troops. And so the king installs him as his warlord. And this is during the Great War, where basically humans are fighting against the furries.
And,
for survival. So that's like a huge revelation that puts all the humans in the Sonic universe into perspective. That they're and why Eggman is even fighting in the first place. He's fighting for his extinct race, basically. He's fighting
Mm-hmm.
for his fleeting race.
So did they like commit genocide on the humans?
They killed a lot of them and they won the war.
Yeah, so they're like no more humans except Eggman.
It's not that there aren't any more humans. There are still huge amounts of humans. They're just in small areas.
So they didn't commit genocide, but they like forced the humans into tiny places.
Yeah. So I think the best way to put this is they basically limited the humans to L.A., New York, Dallas, and all the big cities.
So our quote unquote heroes are the people who segregate humans.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, wow, the good guys. Anyway, yes, continue.
Anyways, it's all revealed to be a flashback by Robotnik, who is at this point sleeping. But that's all the cool backstory. Back to stupidity.
Mm-hmm.
Now we have a three-way battle between Big Joff, Knuckles, and Sonic. And basically they're all fighting, and it's really stupid. But then Dulcie comes in out of nowhere and gives this horrible, no good, terrible explanation for why she not only believes Sonic, but why everybody else should believe her as well. Here we go. As you know, dragons cannot tell lies. That is why we can sense the purity of truth. And I know
What?
Sonic is not lying about being framed.
What?
And Knuckles joins in and says, a dragon's spoken word is fact.
What?
There you go.
What? Is this like something that's set up previously?
Dulcie pretty much says this when she meets up with Sonic the first time, and that's why I didn't want to mention it there, because this panel is so terrible. I don't even know how to process it.
Wow.
As you know, dragons cannot tell lies.
They can't. They're like I mean, it's amazing, man.
That is why we can
that's so
sense the purity of truth.
But that makes no sense. So they can't tell lies, but they can also sense the purity of truth. That's not how it works. I mean, that's like me saying, "Oh yeah, so I don't smoke, but I can sense the essence of smoking on other people because I don't smoke."
I know, dude. It's so
That's really stupid.
It's so dumb. So this turns the opinion of Joffrey St. John and his men.
Of course it does.
And also gets Knuckles to help out. All of this because
Is he still guarding the Master Emerald?
Yeah, he is.
So he's just like, all right, Dom, we'll leave the Master Emerald real quick.
Okay, so in this universe, he's actually the head of the Chaotix, which, by the way, are basically like his secret gang of detectives and whatnot.
Like Vector and Charmy Bee.
Yeah. Ooh.
And then Espia the Chameleon.
Yeah, the only cool one.
Yeah, but so they're just there.
Yeah, they basically guard the Master Emerald when Knuckles isn't around.
Okay, cool. So, okay, so they're all rolling out.
Yeah, so basically they all agree. All right, let's get back to Knothole and let's go and defeat Eggman, right?
Okay, sounds good.
And so we cut back to Eggman, and we literally see a death march where all of Eggman's robots are basically ordering a huge line of people saying, you will all be roboticized, and they're basically walking them all over to Robotropolis.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, as you do.
Yeah, obviously.
And then we cut to Tails and Rotor, and basically they say, Tails says, we freedom fighters have done the impossible before, like an 8-year-old does. And
friends, Romans, countrymen, I, Tails, the 8-year-old.
Yeah,
okay,
essentially, yeah. And then Rotor's like, yeah, we need to regroup, dude. And
bro.
And Tails rightfully says, like, how did Robotnik find our secret village location? Which is a pretty good question, because in this world, like, he's not supposed to know where Knothole is. That's the whole reason why they haven't been firebombed yet. So, still not sure how they ended up not dying immediately. But essentially, you cut to some insignificant panels. The cavalry comes in with Sonic and the boys.
Of course.
They all come in to help everybody out. They regroup with freedom fighters and whatnot. And then
Mm-hmm.
Sonic catches his eye of Drago, who is running away because he knows the crap he's in right now. So dude's running away. Out of nowhere, Hershey throws a rock at his head out of anger. And
Kills him.
like perfect headshot too. So
Oh, nice.
this should have killed him, in all honesty. But no, it like knocks him out.
Of course it does.
And she basically explains to Sonic that he tricked her into killing Princess Sally. So here's what she says, right? I should have known not to trust that creep. He told me I'd be helping the freedom fighters. Instead, he tricked me with Robotnik's technology. When I cut the rope, Sonic, I thought it was Snively who was hanging, but it was really Sally.
But wait, okay, back up. Isn't Snively like a child though? Snively's like a kid.
No,
Like,
Snively's a grown man.
but he's really short, isn't he?
Yeah, he's just short.
He's just that short.
Yeah, he's just no justice for the short guys, dude.
Man, I can't imagine what it'd be like to be that short. And no wonder he's so evil.
Yeah, I know, right?
All right.
And then
I thought for a second they were just like killing children now.
No.
Cool.
And then Hershey says, "Oh, Sonic, what have I done? Everything you've been through. You never mind that, Hershey. You were duped. We were all duped." Now
I thought it was me too.
So basically, they wake up Robotnik, right? His robots, and
Yeah.
they do things. They regroup. They get ready to launch the big attack or whatever.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sonic gets into the base. I don't think it's the Death Egg. I think it's just like his huge base. Bro, are you eating breakfast right now?
No, I gotta make my mother some tea.
Ah, I see.
You can't refuse, Mom. Anyway, yeah.
Dude, I'm gonna need some tea after talking for this long.
I know,
Jeez.
right? Come on over. I'm boiling some water right now.
Dude, one day when Jay Inslee lets us out of our cages, I'll go ahead and do that.
I can't wait, man. Yeah. All right. Anyway.
Anyways, Sonic is invading Eggman's base again. He apparently brings this new ability out of nowhere that's never brought back. So apparently Sonic says in his mind, if I modulate the frequency of my speed while I run real fast, according to Uncle Chuck's theories, I should be able to create after images of myself, enough to mess with my opponent. So yeah, he can produce after images now.
This is just too big brain. Wow, okay.
And then he gets into the base, right? He runs into Snively, beats him up. Nothing too special.
Yeah.
And so there was this B plot that I didn't bother mentioning because it wasn't important. But when Bunny and Antoine were captured, they managed to escape because of some Australian freedom fighters. That's all you need to know. It's not important. But they get onto Death Egg because they were about to plant a bomb to try and beat Eggman. But then Sonic's like, "Don't even bother. I got a score to settle." And again, Miss Ken Penders just misuses language and misuses the word y'all.
Yeah.
Because Bunny here says, "Don't you don't mean y'all going to stay?" And it's just Sonic she's talking to. He's the only one who's gonna stay. So
I mean, like, not to be that guy, but I think Ken Penders is just really excited to use the word y'all. Really think about it. He's just like, "Oh my god, I get to use y'all. I'm very excited."
Yeah, it's bad. It's just bad. But anyways, this leads to like an actual cool fight scene between Sonic and Eggman, and they fight. That's pretty much all I have to say. If I was reading the comics at the time, and I was reading like 1 through 50, then I think this would have had a little more impact. But actual cool fight scene, and then because it's been revealed that they did a very poor job at setting it up in the Endgame arc specifically, but Robotnik has this huge machine that's pretty much going to wipe everything from existence, except for certain places and objects. So it was set to only wipe out Knothole. So it goes off, right? But that was the huge thing that they needed to shut off. That's why everybody was so worried.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I mentioned it so late. It just doesn't come up.
Okay.
Because again, poor foreshadowing. So this is supposed to kill everybody, right? But
Mm-hmm.
instead, like Sonic's just fine, and he comes back out alive.
Sure.
So we
Okay.
cut to like the final scene, or second to last scene, or whatever, and Sonic is in the hospital. Dr. Quack is right there, and he's like, "Bro, where am I?" And Dr. Quack's like, "Oh, you're in the medical facility at Knothole, whatever." And Sonic's like, "What? But I saw Knothole get destroyed." And then Rotor comes in, and he's like, Knothole wasn't destroyed, Sonic. However, it exists in a temporal rift 3 hours into the future, almost like a zone of its own.
Very cool.
Like epic.
What?
Epic, right?
What? What? Okay.
So then Dr. Quack just gives everybody an exposition dump.
Sounds good.
And essentially what he says is he watched all of these terrible things go on behind the scenes because he was captured by Robotnik and basically forced to work for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he saw him talk with Drago, right? He saw him conspire with Drago. He saw him capture his family in order to make him work for him. But he also saw Snively reprogramming the machine so that it did not kill everybody in Knothole, but only killed Robotnik.
Oh, Chad Snively, man.
Yeah, because Snively like really hates his uncle, dude.
Why is he working for him then?
He has no real choice.
Interesting. So Snively saves the day then.
Kinda, yeah.
So let's be clear here. If Hershey the cat hadn't been tricked and it really was Snively, she would have inadvertently stopped the guy who was going to save everyone.
No. Snively did this before.
So Snively isn't that bad.
No, Snively's a terrible person. He's still an evil dude. He just really hated his uncle.
Right, but like I don't know.
No, because he wanted to take over the world himself. That's the thing.
Sure. He still saved everyone.
Yeah, he kind of did. Not even gonna lie.
Like I'm not like listen. I can often be a very sympathetic guy, especially to charismatic villain. But like, bro, he just saved everyone. Wow. I mean, like, can we give some credit to Snively? That's not nothing.
Snively like is the low key MVP. Not even gonna lie.
He saved the world, not Sonic. Snively. And for whatever reason he may have made that decision, he still did the right thing. Like that. Wow.
I know, impressive, right?
I know, right? You know, credit to Snively. All right. Kind of a bit of a cop out because, like, I don't know. Would have thought like someone like Sonic might have saved the world, not Snively. But okay, yeah, sure, you know, okay.
Yeah, and then after that, Sonic is basically told, Dr. Quack basically tells Sonic that, oh, it was so easy to convince everybody that Sally was dead, and I did that to protect her and put her in a stasis tube, so she could recover. But she's in a coma, guys, so I don't know when she's gonna wake up. And then Sonic's like, well, this looks like a job for me. So
I mean, if I vibrate really fast next to the tube, I'll wake her up with my extremely fast frequency.
I really wish that's what happened.
Let me just whistle real quick here, guys. You still hear me through the coma.
But yeah, so he leaves. He passes his freedom fighter buddies, and Ken Penders actually uses y'all correctly for once.
Oh, that's exciting. Oh man.
And
we're all so proud.
Yeah, and then basically Sonic wakes up Sally happily ever after. So
okay.
I'd like to mention that in the aftermath, the Eggman, Dr. Robotnik as we know him, is legit dead for more than 50 plus issues.
Well, who are they gonna fight?
So basically it's hinted that Snively is now gonna be the big bad, and they're gonna start bringing in like new big bads, and it's gonna be after this. It's a lot about rebuilding the former kingdom and whatnot.
Yeah, making sure to keep those humans in their place. Yeah, no.
I know.
Stuff.
But there's this ending page that's kind of like an epilogue, right? And it's so odd. It's still written so weird.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna read the whole epilogue, okay? And
Okay.
so it wasn't long before order was restored. Dr. Quack was exonerated due to extenuating circumstances,
Oh, very
and
cool.
resumed looking after his patient, King Acorn. Like, okay, cool.
Hmm.
Mrs. Quack and the children are doing fine because everybody was
Wow.
just dying to know. The freedom fighters welcomed back their friend Sonic with wide open arms and began planning a big celebration because,
Good
of course, they
morning. Good
did.
morning.
Hershey was forgiven for being Drago's dupe. She's now a model citizen.
Oh, but wasn't she like? But she that seems a little kind of unfair to her because she was never a bad person. She was just tricked.
Yeah, I know. She got forgiven,
Wow.
but
I
she's now
forgive
a
you
model
for being.
citizen, guys.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Joffrey St. John was reinstated as commander of His Majesty's Secret Service. He now awaits his next mission, blah, blah, blah.
Because the guy I definitely want in charge of my secret, the one who's really gullible.
Oh, yeah.
Nah,
And,
nah. Hey, who
and
else?
Drago was sentenced to the Devil's Gulag.
Oh, finally they're gonna use that place. I was waiting.
Yeah. Nah, dude, Sleuth Doggy Dog is there as well.
What happened to Sleuth Doggy Dog? I thought he was a good guy.
No, 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 no. He got sent to the Devil's... got sent to the Devil's Gulag, my guy.
Why? What did he do?
He
War crimes?
he was a traitor in a previous issue, and they hadn't gotten around to shipping him over there, I suppose.
Wow. I mean,
That's wild, dude. That's wild.
man,
And then it
makes
says,
me think.
as for Snively, that's a story for another day. So that is the end of the Endgame saga.
Wow, I laughed. I cried.
Mostly laughed.
Mostly laughed. Not really cried, but I have a lot of questions. Mostly centering around what is the religion of the Sonic universe?
I'm not
Oh.
sure. Did you know there's actual aliens in the early Archie Sonic issues?
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
So are they who Tails is praying to?
I don't know, dude.
Oh man. Anyway.
Thoughts,
Anyway.
feelings, concerns?
Okay. So I think the story was pretty funny. Like unintentionally, intentionally, whatever. It was very funny. And I think it was not the worst story, certainly, that I've ever heard. It's got a lot of potential. But that doesn't change the fact that, I mean, while some of the stuff is pretty good, I mean, some of it's just really dumb. Like the I don't tell a lie, so therefore I can sense when you're lying, or the let me whistle really high pitched.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. My moment where I was like, okay, come on now, was when he threw the dirt out of his shoe and ran on the dirt. I mean, that's the same thing as like saying, oh no, the elevator's falling down the shaft. Let me jump right before it hits the ground. I mean, that's the kind of level of logic we're dealing with here.
I know.
So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If you're looking for a story that's gonna like make sense consistently and is coherent and has like consistently good writing, I don't think it's all that. But if you're
No.
looking for an interesting story and you're willing to put up with a lot of stupid stuff and laugh with it, I think it could be pretty fun.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun to read through. Now, one consistent complaint that I have is once again Ken Penders's choice in vocabulary.
Mm.
I have a huge problem with that. I have never heard an 8-year-old ask what's become of my best friend.
I mean, it's a strange decision. Yeah, it is.
It's like nobody talks. Not a single person talks like, you know?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. I mean, that's not what an 8-year-old sounds like. It's kind of an interesting. But then again, I mean, he doesn't know how Southern people talk, so I don't know why you'd expect him to understand how 8-year-olds talk. I mean, it's not.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
this isn't the worst story I've ever written, or the worst story I've ever read. My bad. And there are stories that I much prefer later on.
Yeah.
But it does provide some interesting backstory. Now, one other huge complaint I have is that Ken Penders has like this fetish for bolding 2 or 3 words in each speech bubble he ever writes ever.
Oh, that's cool. I love when they do that.
Like, just begin to read some of the panels that I sent you. In every single one, there is at least one bolded letter. Or
that's good.
It's like,
No.
it's like, why? Why would you write like that?
I'm just here to like look at it as a like. I mean, he's not. His attention span isn't great. Okay, Andrew. He needs bolded words to make him feel like he's a big boy and he's getting all the stuff. You know.
It's like I feel as if I have to yell on each freaking word he has bolded. It's just odd art direction. I'll just say that. Now, talking about the art itself, it's very hit or miss. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of the covers are actually really really good, especially the one
Mm-hmm.
I sent you. I
The one
actually
where he's running away. Yeah.
Yeah, that one I actually really like, but it just doesn't match the art quality of the actual comic itself. I
Mm-hmm.
just don't like the style it's in. It's very particular. Uh, it like details the weirdest parts of a character. Like it'll
Mm-hmm.
highlight an arm way too much, or it'll highlight a stomach way too much, or whatever, or maybe the head is just shaped weird. Like on the issues that I sent you with Sonic running on the dirt, like the head is
Yeah.
so weird. The spines are so off.
Yeah. Well, what are you gonna do? It's Ken Penders.
Yeah. Ken Penders actually didn't draw all this though. These
Who's
were
wrong?
I believe if I go back, we will actually see brought to you with pride by Ken. Yeah, plot was all by Ken Penders. Script was by Ken Penders, or majority by Ken Penders, I suppose. Colors, blah blah blah. I'm trying to look for the guy who did the penciling. Okay, so
Mm.
inks was done by Andrew Pepoy, Brian Thomas, Pam Eklund. Yeah, like the art style changes every couple of pages.
Ah, yeah. That's a good thing to have.
So they just don't have a consistent look, you know.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
But overall, like I'd give it a good 6, 7 out of 10.
Right. Like I think you could definitely enjoy it, but you gotta have some. You gotta have a pretty high tolerance for like cheesy.
Weirdness, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Like you gotta be willing to not necessarily like suspend your disbelief, but you can't let stupid stuff like I run on the dirt in the air kind of ruin it for you because then you won't be able to read it.
Yeah. It's just there's definitely better stuff down the line, but I'm for this being like the huge arc that the series was leading up to,
Mm-hmm.
can't necessarily say I'm completely disappointed.
Okay, not to be that guy, right? Like, doesn't it feel kind of weird? So, from what I can tell, from like the few Sonic comics, Sally's like one of the most, if not like the second most important character in the comics, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So why is in like the big arc she's just not there? Like she's just out of it completely, starting at the very beginning of the first
Yeah.
part of it. I mean, like that feels kind of weird that like the whole series is leading up to it, and yet the second most important character is out of it, starting like I don't know, a quarter of the way through the first comic book. Like really?
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I'm.
it could have been handled way better.
It just I think it's an interesting creative decision that I wouldn't have made, considering if she's so important, you've probably invested a lot of resources
Dude, Ken
developing.
Penders tries to kill off Sally Acorn a ton of times in this comic.
Why?
I
I
don't
was under the
know.
impression that she's generally well regarded by the fan base.
Yeah, the fan base really likes her, so I think that's the reason why he never allowed to actually do it. But he
Mm-hmm.
tries to kill her off so many times, dude. It's ridiculous.
Interesting. I just kind of assumed that he, at least liked the character a little bit, but I don't know.
Nah, man, he loved his pet project, Mr. Joffrey St. John.
Why?
Dude, Joffrey, I'm very conflicted with him because he becomes really interesting like by mid 200s issues, but the only reason that it happens is because the author of those issues around 200ish basically tears down the original character and basically makes him
So
into a new character.
what you're telling me is that it takes him like 200 issues to get to be a good character.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Joffrey St. John is just forgettable.
Uh-huh.
That's all I have to say about him. He's a very forgettable character. He becomes
Mm.
not forgettable and actually interesting later, but it's only done by disregarding all of the past and by disregarding all of the original lore around the character. So I don't know how to feel about that. But I mean that's all I have to say on him. He's a good meme, but not much more.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird though when you think about it. I mean, kind of forgettable character for like 200 issues, and then he finally gets good.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Anyways, final thoughts?
I think my final thoughts are essentially, is the story a little kind of, a little stupid? Sure. But I'm glad I know it now, and it's raised so many interesting questions, like, is there God in Sonic? I mean, these are important questions, Andrew. But moreover, I think, I don't know if I would pay money to, like, buy the comic
To
book.
experience it.
But like, I'm glad I know about it, if only because it's unintentionally very funny.
Yeah, and I feel that's how a lot of early Archie would go. It's very unintentionally funny.
Right.
I personally prefer the later issues when the new head writer comes in, Ian Flynn. Just because I prefer his style of writing more. And I think he fundamentally understands how to write a normal person. I think he handles dialogue a lot better than Ken Penders does. Because Ken Penders does he write for humans?
I don't think so. Maybe he's never seen a human. Okay, let's be fair here.
I don't know. Maybe he's just in his anime dungeon, have body pillow in hand.
Sounds about right.
But there's a ton of really stupid lore with Ken Penders stuff, and I think we can get into that with another day. I think those are my final thoughts. Do you want to have some closing words here, Harry?
All right. Sure. Well, thank you for listening in to this really truly bizarre story, and I'm glad I know about it for one, and I'm excited to share some more Star Wars lore next week.
Sweet. What is next week, by the way?
In terms of Star Wars lore, or in terms of
Star Wars.
Yeah, okay. So I told you the lore of the first game, KOTOR, but there's a second one, KOTOR 2.
Ooh.
And it has the man who's literally too angry to die.
Oh, yeah.
I got to send you a picture of him because he's basically a zombie. It's kind of weird, but
That's neat.
we'll get into why he's too angry to die and all that stuff. But the point is, it's basically like the original KOTOR story, but a lot weirder. It's much weirder. It's a much weirder game. Yeah. So I'm excited to try and explain that one because I have no idea how I'm actually going to go about doing that. All right.
Yeah, and I think that's about it. Thank you all so much for listening. If you did enjoy this show will be on Spotify, as well as hopefully on YouTube in the next couple of days. Again, if you want to support our radio station, all of our shows are on Spotify pretty much, and we really enjoy it if you would listen. That's about all I have to say. My name is Andrew Pearson. I was here with my friend Harry Gahn. We talked about random Sonic the Hedgehog lore, and that's about it. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, folks.